founding father of psychoanalysis, a titan in the science of psychology, Sigmund Freud proposed a model of the ego in which he described a struggle taking place in the pre-conscious, conscious and unconscious mind between the base demands of the animalistic id and the angelic superego, mediated by the ego. Freud's sixth and youngest daughter, Anna, continued the development of psychoanalysis and the application of the therapeutic method in search of a healthy experience of the self. She authored several important works, including The Ego and Mechanisms of Defense, in which she identified a series of psychological strategies or ego defenses adopted in childhood to protect the self. Regression. When an individual's personality reverts to an earlier childish state. Repression, the principal human defense mechanism, an unconscious process of deletion and denial. Reaction formation. Reaction formation occurs when a person feels an urge to do or say something and then does or says something the opposite of what they really want. For example, a person who is angry with a colleague ends up being particularly courteous towards that colleague. Isolation, the mind's ability to compartmentalize and separate ideas or feelings from the rest of their thoughts. For example, people with stressful jobs may use psychological isolation to separate their work life from their family life. Undoing, when acting on an idea or impulse that is later regretted, one may adopt a defense mechanism of attempting to undo that action in order to protect the ego from feelings of guilt or shame. Projection, when we experience thoughts or feelings that cause anxiety, we may defend our ego to avoid accepting our own weakness by attributing one's own feelings to others. Introjection, mannerisms of others may be observed and replicated as a fawning ego defense. Criticisms and beliefs can be interjected, replacing previously held opinions. Turning against the self. An individual develops an internal critic with strong negative attitudes about the self. Reversal, or turning around into the opposite, emotions such as love into hate, creates a disguise, enabling the translation of latent thoughts into acceptable thoughts, which are thus able to cross the barrier of censorship. Sublimation. Similar to displacement, sublimation is a type of ego defense mechanism where socially unacceptable impulses or idealizations are unconsciously transformed into socially acceptable actions or behavior. The mind generates a subtler, safer way to execute feelings. For example, an angry kid becomes a boxer, channeling his potentially destructive impulses into a positive outcome. The overall aim of Anna Freud's therapeutic practice, in which she had a special focus on female psychology, was to guide persons entering therapy from dependency to emotional self-reliance.